Happy 6th anniversary to Langrisser from Langrisser. Zlong is rerunning both previous limited LLR banners featuring the Sovereign of the Abyss and Brightsummoner beginning this week on December 19th and running till the end of the extended major update on January 15th. They're being run separately as side-by-side single-unit banners, so you have a 40% chance to get the featured unit on either banner with a 60% off-banner chance. This is a great time to revisit, in quick summary form, my earlier evaluations of these units, now that they've aged a little bit in Global. We'll get started with Sovereign of the Abyss. Imelda is a PvP-oriented magical enabler. After acting, she can whip 2 allies, which gives them the usual offensive boosts: damage dealt, fixed damage, crit chance, crit damage, int, attack, and skill, all increase by 10%. After dealing damage to an enemy, she applies a cold debuff. With 1 stack, they have reduced stats when fighting her. With 2 stacks, they get stunned for a turn. If they die with the debuff, she gets refreshed cooldowns. With her unique 1-cost skill, she has the option to either pull herself to the target, or pull the target towards herself. After using either hook, she can move 3 more spaces and take another action. Her unique 2-cost skill is her single target, and her 3-cost skill is her big AoE combo. First, it's a 3-line AoE that teleports her and any whipped allies within 3 spaces to the furthest point of the span. This also applies icy terrain effects along the way that cause enemies to use additional mobility, take fixed damage, and pick up a cold stack. The 3C then turns into an AoE blast around her position that applies icy terrain along the edge of the span, and activates a sneaky 2-turn anti-Act Again aura. She's a member of Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal, Strategic Masters, buffed by Ultimuller, Lanford, and Grenshiel, and Heroes of Time, buffed by Joshua, Yusuke, Angelica, and the Awakened One. For bonds, she doesn't roadblock any other character's bonds, and she doesn't need anyone else for her own bonds. For content, in PvE, her main benefit is her ability to move units around and to quickly and easily freeze multiple enemies and keep them frozen. This makes her very useful for general early PvE content and some challenges. She can also be used to complete the Friday and Saturday joint battles in 1 turn, as I demonstrated in this video. Is that on the screen? I'll put the link down below by the like button as well. She's still more of a PvP hero. She can massively boost the offensive potential of multiple allies and then bring them to the front lines, even bringing her own personal tank with her if you want. Her days of being able to rush in alone are coming to an end with some new current and future units shifting the meta, but she still maintains a presence in well-rounded Apex boxes. For her build, she uses her flying class with Breeze and Chance. Nightbloom is a great pick since she has multiple opportunities to interact with allies for the cleanse. Last Rites or Tenyos both work. Owl Hat is great, but King's Crown, Glory of the World, and Star Crown all work if you don't have one. She likes Butterfly, but those are still rare, so you can also go Dynamic Playmaker mode with Spirit Boots, or Raw Power with an int accessory like Vidar's Rose. Okay, let's move along to Brightsummoner. Chris can either be a healer and support in her Holy class, or a fast assassin in her Mage class. Her talent gives a 25% boost to healing effects, and dispels a debuff and applies a buff after healing an ally. But her true gimmick is Horse. Her unique 1-cost skill summons Horse, that has 90% of her base stats and benefits from all of her current equipment effects. After use, this skill changes and Chris can either teleport to Horse and act again, or recall Horse back to her. One of her unique 2-cost skills is a Legion of Glory faction buff, giving plus 8% damage in battle, or plus 12% if you have 5 or more buffs. Her 3-cost skill passive effect is an automatic cast version of her faction buff, this time granting a full 15% damage in battle with no buff conditions. It also grants buffed units a post-battle heal on the lowest HP ally, meaning your whole team can now remotely heal. This will auto-cast whenever she actively casts her 3C or summons Horse. When used actively, it upgrades Horse, or summons one if it's not on the field already. After casting, it switches to a DPS skill that's a tweaked version of normal Chris's 3C with the melee reduction clause removed, so it can benefit from Scepter. The Holy Horse is a healing horse. It increases Chris's range, gives nearby allies some immunities, and has post-action healing. It copies some buffs to an allied unit, increasing soldier stats, making them immune to mobility reduction, and giving them Terrain Master. The Mage Horse, on the other hand, is a harmful horse. It can attack twice, and skills and attacks used by both BS and Horse will create thunder tiles that do fixed damage and reduce magic defense. If it's the 3C buffed Horse, its DPS skill can ignore guard if the target is in a cardinal direction, so that means straight up, straight down, straight forward, or straight back. And if the target doesn't die, Chris can act again. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, Grenier, and herself, Brightsummoner, Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizarov, Sage of the Trees, and Isolde. For bonds, she doesn't unlock anyone else's bonds, and she doesn't need anyone else for her own bonds. For content, her main use in PvE will be as a generalist for Legion of Glory aficionados. She has tons of incidental healing and utility, and Horse is another free unit. She'll be a little awkward before unlocking her 3C, but still usable. People will always ask if she's a better healer than Tiaris or Rosenseal, or if she replaces them. It depends on what you're trying to do. She has a lot of healing output, but if you need to cheese a stage with blanket debuff immunity, Rosen is still the one for you. On the PvP side, she is a common first pick after Enya gets banned, mainly because she's so versatile. In her mage class, she can initiate some long-range rush snipe tactics. Holy was most common in China, but global servers seem to be using mage a lot more, and not just in rush. She's just a really solid unit, even Horse is a force. For her build, Breeze is a safe catch-all enchant, Holy should use Nightbloom, and Mage should use Scepter of Divinity. Body can be whatever unless you're rushing, in which case you probably want Nebulous Robes. Holy can splash lots of Tenyo buffs around, and Rush Mage can threaten silence a couple times with Soul Stealer. Swordsmith Medal and Holy Ring are nice defensive generalist options. Twilight Star and Divine Boots are options for Mage, depending on whether you're rushing or not. Okay, let's move on to this unconventional episode's unconventional notes for noobs. Sovereign of the Abyss is a nice versatile DPS who can be used in both PvE and PvP, plus she doesn't need other units for bonds, making her a safe and easy build. She doesn't carry a faction buff, but her chains can juice up a couple units at a time. I don't want to say she's a must summon, but she is a really solid overall unit. Brightsummoner is another really versatile unit that should be a priority for anyone planning on playing Legion of Glory, thanks to her excellent faction buff. She can be your healer, or a magical DPS, and she doesn't need anyone else for her bonds, so she can easily drop right into your team. Don't forget you've also got Enya and some wish lists to contend with right now, so resources might be tight and it might be hard to prioritize which of these units to pick up first, especially if you're new and trying to play catch-up. If you're literally a brand spankin' new account, then I'd say trying to get either Enya or Brightsummoner are good priorities, depending on whether you care more about Yless Legends or Legion of Glory. From there, you could try to grab Isolde and Eshin from the wishlist banner, and then come back for Sovereign of the Abyss if you have tremendous luck and still have hard-earned vouchers and crystals left over. And that's a quick refresher. Thanks so much for watching, and extra special and sincere thanks to our Langrisser tier channel members Levitt, Jerome Meyer, Kate Soon, Jorge Luis, Unknown Gaming, and Seraph Keel. Welcome to our newest member, and thanks for supporting the channel. And I apologize for anything bad I've ever said about Seraphina. I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll catch you in the new year with the next Should You Summon. Oh, I can't believe I got that in one take. 2-turn anti-act again aura. Not too bad.